Well, as we heard, President Trump said he had been briefing his European counterparts on that call with President Putin. So let's bring in our correspondent, Simon Young. Welcome, Simon. What are you hearing from European capitals?
Yeah, Phil, well, it seems as if on the call after talking to Putin, Trump spoke with Zelensky, as we've heard, but on that call as well, the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and the leaders of Germany, France, Finland and Italy. And the reaction relatively positive. Ursula von der Leyen of the EU saying that she wants to thank the president for his efforts to achieve a ceasefire in Ukraine, but also saying it's very important that the United States stays engaged in this process. And here in Berlin, Chancellor Merz's spokesman said that what had been agreed essentially is the Europeans and Donald Trump would continue to work together, talking about next steps. And had sort of reaffirmed their willingness to closely accompany Ukraine on its path towards a ceasefire. But they also said, and this was emphasised, that they would step up pressure on Russia through sanctions. And that's, of course, a slightly different sort of emphasis from the one that Donald Trump's been giving, who's talking about normalising relations with Russia and increased trade in the future and so on.
Interesting, because there had been fears that the Europeans were being sidelined in this process. Does Europe now have a seat at the negotiating table?
Yeah, well, it certainly has had. The Europeans, I think, have begun to work out how to deal with Trump, President Trump going off on his own way when it comes to dealing with Ukraine, Russia. And the Europeans didn't want to be left behind or overtaken by Trump's deal making. So they've repeatedly now appeared in these groups of 4 and 5 with the Polish Prime Minister, or today with the Italian Prime Minister there. They've kept the UK on side, which is important. And they've talked about their role in any future peace, securing any future peace in Ukraine. But you can also ask, what does it amount to? Before the call today between Trump and Putin, the Europeans spoke to the US president, said you should apply maximum pressure. What's come out of it? Putin is saying, well, I'll work on a memorandum towards possibly having a ceasefire. It's a pretty paltry result. And the Europeans are still reduced essentially to waiting for the phone to ring from Washington to find out what Trump has agreed. That's not a comfortable position to be in.
Thanks for that, Simon. DW political correspondent Simon Young.